Hello everybody, my name is DylongPlays and welcome back to episode 3 of Saturday Storytime. Why don't you come and take a seat on my lap and I'll tell you another story about my life. This one takes place in middle school, and I remember I was in 8th grade. This time it's a story that I actually remember the time period. This was 8th grade, and all parties involved were all girls. Yes, I was not involved in the fight, but I did cause it. Oh yeah, let me preface it. This story is about me causing a fight because you voted for it on Twitter, or X. I call it Twitter. Deal with it. All parties involved were all girls. There was 3 in total, and I was with every single one of them at some point. Because yes, your boy Dylong was a baller. I wouldn't call it baller. I would call it desperate. This was not a knock to any of the girls. Some of them still follow me on social media to this day. This was not a knock to any of you guys. If you for some reason see this, which I doubt they will, but I was just very desperate. If you had a pulse and were interested in me, I'm your guy. I'm in it for marriage. God, I was such a loser. Anyways, I'm not good with names, so we're just gonna say girl 1, girl 2, and girl 3. Girl 1, I dated for a while. Girl 2, I dated for a while. Girl 3, I wanted to date. I honestly tried to date her before girl 1 or girl 2, but she was the type that wasn't ever into relationships. She just wanted to like do her own thing, which by the way, rest in peace to her. She is no longer with us, but she was a good person. She was always very nice to me. And when I say she was always very nice to me in school, this is what I mean. This is kind of what the fight was based around. So let's get into it. I dated girl 1 for a brief period of time. She was my first girlfriend in middle school. And also my first kiss, which will be another story. So she was very special to me, or at least in that timeline, she was very special to me. Now that I'm all grown up, it was just another little, middle school fling. But to me, that was my life. That was everything to me. Because when we're all middle schoolers, we're all dramatic and stupid. So when she broke up with me for my best friend and my neighbor, it felt like my heart was torn out of my chest. And I couldn't get over it for a while until I met girl 2, who happened to be girl 1's best friend. Did I see a problem with it back then? No. And I did this again months later with a girl. I'm gonna do a whole nother story time because she's the reason I got jumped at a festival, which is on my archive channel, but I'm just trying to give you some background lore on what happened. It all connects in the timeline in the Dylong universe. It'll all make sense at some point. So like I said, we have girl 1, shattered my heart, ended up with my neighbor. I ended up with girl 2 by asking her in the most romantic way possible. Guys, I was smooth. I was a man of many words. So you know what I did? I sat there in math class with her to my right, and I wrote on a note that says, "Will you be my girlfriend?" with a box that says yes and a box that says no. And I 007 smoothly just slid it over to her like, yeah, read it when you get the chance, babe. And she looked at it, she thought about it for a second, and she marked yes. So it's official. Me and girl 2 are dating. Now, girl 1 wasn't happy about this. Girl 1, I still see girl 1 every now and then on social media, and we're friends to this day. I don't talk to her as much, but we were always friends all the way through high school. But she was a bitch in middle school. I'm just gonna be straight up. She was a bitch. She had a boyfriend, again, my neighbor, and was still pissed off at me that I had moved on. She was allowed to move on, but I wasn't. So that was very frustrating at the time. So she didn't like that I was with girl 2. But now that I think about it, I guess I didn't look at the bigger picture because girl 2 was her best friend, and I pretty sure just like with bros, there's a bro code, which my homie at the time did not follow, and we're still friends, I think, to this day. We don't talk anymore, but he was like my best friend since we were kids, since we were like 4. But being the 2 guys that we are, I mean, we had such a history at this point, we just didn't really care. We were just cool with it. I was like, look, man, if you're happy, then I'm happy. Guys are very simple. Girls, not so much. And if you want to debate me on that, then don't, because I just won't respond. But yeah, so girl 1 wasn't happy with girl 2, which it wasn't a problem. It wasn't like anything violent had happened yet. It's just, hey, I don't like you, you don't like me, we're not friends anymore, you're with my ex-boyfriend, what about the code? But then it takes a turn when girl 3 gets involved. What she did at the time, it wasn't a good thing, but looking back, I'm like, I understand she was just sticking up for us, which was very nice. So girl 1 continuously was talking shit about girl 2, commenting on her appearance, her weight, calling her a bunch of other different names. I don't remember exactly along the lines, but mainly going after her weight. I do remember that. So eventually it got to a point where girl 2, who was with me at the time, had to go to the principal to get a no contact order, which is like the middle school restraining order. Hey, you sign this paper, you don't talk to me, I don't talk to you. You don't talk about me, I don't talk about you. Done and simple, right? Now the problem is, here's where I messed up, and here's where I instigated everything, because I could have just sat there and just been happy with girl 2, even though deep down I wasn't. I still wanted girl 1, but that was never going to happen, so I had to find something to fill the void. So me and girl 2 were together for as long as we could in middle school, as long as that lasted, maybe like a solid 3 weeks. And at one point, girl 1 said something about girl 2 behind her back to a friend via text, which after you sign that contract, that is a big no-no. So I caught wind of it. Don't ask me how I got the screenshot, but I did. And it's her, once again, calling girl 2 a fat ass. I made the stupid mistake And I'm such an asshole for this. I don't know why I did this or why I felt the need to do this, but I get the screenshot and you would think, okay, your girlfriend's being teased. You could A, stick up for her, B, tell an adult. So what do? You don't do any of the above. You go to your girlfriend and say, hey, look, they're calling you fat. And of course she starts crying and I'm like, well, that wasn't my intention. My intention was just to make sure you knew the situation. God, my big, dumb, stupid brain. Oh, geez. So girl 2 starts breaking down and girl 2 runs to the office and I'm thinking like, well, I'm just the one, I was the messenger. Don't shoot the messenger. But then all of a sudden, I get called down into the office and I'm like, well, what did I do? I mean, don't shoot the messenger. And the principal just says, hey, look, you're not even a part of this. You shouldn't even be a part of this. They have a no contact order. Don't be instigating. Don't be getting in the middle, which again, was not my intention. It's just how it came out in the situation. I felt that it was the best thing to do in that moment. And my dog is barking at the worst time. So after I think it's all said and done, girl 1 and girl 2 are separated. There hasn't been anything really ongoing for a few weeks at that point. I think all's good. Me and girl 2 are doing pretty well. Now girl 1 says something again, but this time girl 1 says something to the wrong person listening. She said it in front of girl 3. Girl 3, to this day, because in middle school, girl 3 was also kind of like my bodyguard. She was bigger than me. She was buffer than me. I mean, no one was gonna fuck with me when she was around. She was like my personal bodyguard, I swear. And when girl 1 opened her mouth and said something, girl 3 was not having it. And back then in middle school, I'm still new to public school, so I don't really think, I think fights are just a myth. I just think that that's just really something you only see in movies. I did see one fight, but I'm like, it's rare, that'll never happen again. And then it did. We're walking to science. Me, girl 1, and girl 2 all have science together. Girl 3's class is on the other opposite side of the school, and so when she's walking with me, I'm like, what is this girl doing? She's not saying anything. She's got like this determined, I know what I'm doing and I'm gonna do it look, but I don't know what that is. So I say bye and she's still standing next to me. I'm like, well bye. Are you know, you're gonna go to your class? And girl 1 walks up. Girl 3 gets in her face and is like, you need to stop talking shit about my friend right now. And I take about 2 steps back. I wasn't getting involved for shit. That was not my problem. I mean, I started it, but in the moment, I'm like, that's between you guys handle it. And then she calls me back into the circle and she goes, well, Dylan said that you called my friend a fat ass. And now I'm like, oh shit. So you know, I stood 10 toes. I said, yeah, you did say shit about her and I told her. And, you know, girl 1 was upset. You know, I thought we had something special. Why are you doing that? I'm like, something special? You're with my neighbor. You're with my best friend. There's nothing special here. No, I'm not going to help you. I'm going to help the girl that I'm with. And I thought that was the end of it. Girl 3 turns around and starts walking away. But then she does the most diabolical thing I have ever seen. She had a napkin in her hand from lunch and she tosses the napkin up in the air. And I think it's because at this age, we're all just very easily sidetracked. So everyone that was in that group, as soon as she threw the napkin up in the air, everybody looked up except for her. She tosses the napkin, girl 1 looks up in the air, and as she's looking up in the air, girl 3 just uppercuts her square in the jaw, and that was a mean hit. And girl 1 goes down and girl 3 gets on top of her and just keeps hitting her, doesn't let her up, doesn't give her a chance, just punch after punch after punch. Girl 1 gets up, she's all bloody and she's looking at me and she's screaming, this is your fault, this is your fault. Girl 3 walks away, trying to get out of there before security comes and gets her. But all I remember is girl 1 screaming, this is your fault, you caused this, you did this. And I remember I freaked the hell out. First time in that whole situation, I realized I did cause it. I could have just kept to myself or told an adult and then it would have been handled right then and there. But I'm 13 and I'm stupid. And I'm just trying to make girls happy. I guess you can say I caused a fight, but not only that, I caused a girl to get the shit beat out of her. And if you're watching this, we did talk from time to time during high school, just as friends. There was nothing ever there. I only ever saw her as like a friend after that. But if you're watching this, again, I know you'll remember this story, and I am so sorry for what I caused. Didn't take long after that, me and girl 2 decided that we just weren't meant for each other, and after all that drama, I'm like, look, I need to get out of this circle. This is just not for me. So yeah, there was anything, there was no permanent damage. I mean, she was bleeding from her lip and her nose a little bit. Girl 3 got suspended. I'm pretty sure girl 1 wasn't suspended. No, girl 1 wasn't suspended because she ended up coming back to class with an ice pack on her face, and I swear to God, I did everything in my power. I sat across from her, or our desks where I sat across from her. I did everything in my power to not even make a glimpse of eye contact with her. I was playing the game. If I looked her in the eyes, I would just turn to stone. I was avoiding her at all costs. But I think the principal told her to not speak to me either, because at this point I had already inserted myself so far into this that I was probably considered one of the part of the crew. So she didn't talk to me. She didn't talk to me for a few months. I don't even remember how we reconnected. Down the road, she ended up talking to me again out of nowhere and wanting to get back together, but it just never played out. That's the time I caused a fight, and that's the time I caused a girl to get the shit beat out of her. And trust me, if you look at this girl, she's not a fighter in any means necessary. I mean, I'm not a fighter either, but I'll be able to hold. But she was just this very like girly girl. Was even grossed out if like her hand went in the mud. Like, she was not about it. And this other girl, girl 3, she was about it. Yeah, so she hit her with that mean Tyson 1-2 hook, and it was lights out. I felt so bad, but she stuck up for me a lot in middle school. She was always nice to me. She was always walking with me to class. I don't know why she did that. I don't know if she liked me and just never like really had the way to express it, but she always walked with me to class. We always walked home together. After what had happened, I never saw her as anything more. I just saw her as a really good friend. So again, rest in peace to her. And that's going to be it for today's story. I hope you all enjoyed. I'm trying to get better about storytelling, trying not to ramble too much. I'm working on it. Give me a chance, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Love y'all to death. Bye-bye.